Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about the natal chart of David Bowie. Now, many of you may know he was a legendary rock star, and he passed away recently, and I just wanted to do a natal analysis of him. So here we go. Now, David Bowie had a Capricorn sun, and this made David, I believe, very ambitious, industrious, and career-oriented. Seriousness and single-minded focus was very strong in his nature, I believe, and also the emphasis on responsibility and being very consistent in his nature. He had the sun in the 12th house, however, in a different ascendant. So a lot of this sun energy may have been really suppressed, I believe. I think his Aquarius ascendant is what really stood out. 12th house is connected with the house of restrictions and limitations. And energies generally tend to be dissipated or diminished in the cadent houses, and the 12th house is a cadent house. Now, he also had a Leo moon, and this was obviously very blatantly, I think, the flamboyant side of David Bowie. The emotional needs included attention, notoriety, recognitions, getting accolades, and obviously a very strong interest in entertainment, very charismatic and very strong stage presence, and I think that really is connected strongly with the Leo moon. And also he had an Aquarius ascendant. Now the Aquarius ascendant is, I believe, the eccentric and eclectic front of David Bowie. And Bowie came across as very unorthodox and unconventional and very avant-garde. This is strongly connected with the Aquarius ascendant, I believe. Aquarius ascendant could also be very progressive, revolutionary, and give strong intellectual ability and be ingenious. And I think he may have been one of those performers a little ahead of his time. Now, he also had the majority of his planets on the top half of the chart, which could signify being more extroverted than introverted, more optimistic than pessimistic, and more objective than subjective. And a lot of people that have a preponderance of planets on the top half of the chart may emphasize a more public life as opposed to a private one. Now, he also had a preponderance of planets in the third quadrant, which are houses 7th, 8th, and 9th. Now, this can make a person very relationship-oriented. Partnerships may transform philosophies, and relationships and partnerships, whether they be platonic or sexual, they might involve strongly foreign people, and they may figure prominently in one's life scheme. Now, he also had most of his planets in fixed signs, or I should say most of the major influences in fixed signs, which I include the MC and the first and the ascendant along with the 10 planets. Now, this could indicate, though, difficulty in making compromises in relationships, but at the same time can give inordinate willpower, persistence, and determination. Can be intractable, resolute, and very unwavering, though, perhaps in viewpoints. Now, he also had the majority of his planets in fire signs, or I should say major influences in fire signs, which could give much enthusiasm, exuberance, and leadership capability, a lot of passion and energy, and really having that strong fiery temperament. Now, also could be very positive, upbeat, and motivational and inspirational, which I believe in all likelihood he was. He also had the final or chart signature in Leo, which could really reinforce that dynamic, entertaining, flamboyant side of Bowie, and really not much trouble getting attention. He really didn't have to seek it, I don't believe. I think he was that kind of had that persona where others were just magnetically drawn to him. David Bowie also had the chart ruler in his 4th house. This could indicate that home and family life may have been very predominant or figured very prominently in his life, even though we may not have really noticed that. Eccentric Aquarius ascendant may come out strongly in matters pertaining to the home and family, and it could indicate that emotional security may have been strongly emphasized as well, whether we were really cognizant of that or not. Now, what's interesting too is he had the first quadrant of his natal chart empty. The first quadrant consists of the first, second, and third houses. So nobody could have really accused David Bowie of being egocentric or selfish. He may have often sacrificed himself for others, and it might indicate that he allowed others' interests strongly to take precedence over his. No, and really, this, I think what's coupled with that is having a selfless Aquarius ascendant really played strongly into this as well, and it could indicate very strong humanitarian instincts. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the natal chart of David Bowie, part 1. And stay tuned next time where I'll be dissertating and talking about the natal chart of David Bowie, part 2. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.